Once upon a time, there was an artist. She wasn't the greatest, but she was more than good enough to get a job working at the local theater. Every month she would sew costumes, craft props, and paint sets for their plays. And when she's done and the show goes on stage, she gets to work on the props for the next month's play. One day, she found a new script on her desk for a play called It didn't look like the usual scripts Mr. Writer sent in. The paper was much older, and she had never seen this font. "Mr. Theater, did you put this on my desk?" she asked, but he had never seen it before. Curious, she sat down to read it. The first act was just okay, but as she was going to sit down to finish it later, she caught the first page of Act 2 in the corner of her eye. It was so irresistibly captivating that she couldn't put it down. And she read it 12 more times that day. "Mr. Theater, we must put on this play. It's the greatest story I've ever read, and it'll be perfect for Halloween." He declined. "Sorry, I've already paid for October's play. We can do yours another time." "You should still read it," she says, shoving the wonderful script into his hands. "I suppose," he says as he sits down to read. But he didn't even make it halfway through the first page before he fell asleep. Mr. Theater could never appreciate true art. That's why he pays real artists to do all the work for him. The next day, the new script was delivered, but the mailman had given it to the artist's house by mistake. She took the script to read. It was horrible. The theater would go into debt if they put this on. So she hid the terrible script under her bed. A few days later, Mr. Theater was concerned that the new script hadn't come in yet, so he called a meeting with all his staff. "What will we do?" he cried. "We still have my script. I promise it's as good, if not better, than Mr. Writer's would have been." And so they all read the wonderful script. "This is excellent. What a beautiful story. How could I have slipped on this?" And so they all got to work. The artists sewed costumes, the actors rehearsed their lines, the artists crafted props, the musicians composed songs, and the artists painted the sets. Their passion for this wonderful play drove them to create the best work they had ever made. And on October 1st, they performed the play for the first time. The audience loved it. "Amazing! Wonderful! This is better than the plays in the capital." Word spread until all of Jeffview had heard of the play, and thousands came to see it. And on Halloween, even the Prince of Jeffview came to see it. Strangely, he didn't appreciate the story as much as everyone else. But the production! He had never seen such quality in all his life. So, he invited her to his castle and made her the royal artist. And she filled the castle with paintings, statues, and ornate carpets. And in return, she was given riches, servants, and the knowledge of the forbidden in the knowledge.